Nobody wants this to happen to their site. What you're seeing here is a traffic graph from roughly 4,500 organic visitors a month from Google based on average ranked key terms. And when I see things fall off a cliff like this, it tells me there was some kind of major change to the website. Most commonly, this is a website rebuild. And sure enough, when I checked out what this website looked before this happened on this date, which was May 2024, April 2024, and what it looked a few months later, it was basically a website rebuild. Now, without me dissecting any further, I can tell you that something didn't go to plan. In their defense, maybe they don't mind losing 3,000 visitors a month, but this basically tells me that the plumbing wasn't reconnected, unless the business had change of direction and maybe they don't offer these services. So let's have a quick look at what kind of traffic they lost. So what were the dates? Organic keywords. If I compare it to 1st of April 2024 and I'll have a look at the traffic change, we can see here positive behavior support lost 679 monthly visitors, which is huge. Functional capacity assessment, OT assessment, occupational therapy, there's their main SEO key term. You can see them changing the URL structure, right? It's occupational therapy now. Before it was NDIS occupational therapy assessments. Now, there could be our reasoning is, hey, maybe they don't offer NDIS anymore. Maybe it's just occupational therapy, because that's a really broad term, and NDIS is a laser focused term. But when I checked out their website, they're definitely attempting to offer NDIS. So basically what I can see happening here is there may not have been a redirection in place. Now, if I open this link, now, in theory, they should have redirected this to the new page. Yes, they did. Maybe they did this recently. Maybe they didn't do it straight away. Maybe they left it for a few months. But basically, when I see a chart that looks like the one that we just looked at, now once again, I've only spent like a minute looking at this, but I see these every single day. And in their defense, they might have reasons for not needing these pages, but look at all of the traffic. All this red is basically traffic that they have, monthly traffic that they have lost. And it's all surrounding that particular page. Now, imagine now that someone's sold you a new website and you don't know these baseline issues that can happen. A new website's gone up, and a website designer, creative designer, web designer, they build it. They're off onto the next project, but your site is now receiving 3,000 visitors a month less. So it's really nobody's fault. It's hard to say there's a fault here, unless of course there's a SEO behind this and they didn't pay attention. But basically this tells me that this business, this website, has been concentrating on SEO. Their backlinks have been going up, their organic search has been going up, so someone's been actively working on it. And this is not a very pretty site. Once again, maybe this is intentional, but most cases that I inspect contact me some months, a year down the track, just not knowing, and they tell me the same thing. Hey, we used to get this traffic, we used to get rankings, we used to get all of these inquiries, and then they just fell off a cliff. This is one of the first things I look at is, okay, what's happened to the website? And a lot of the time it won't even click to them. Oh yeah, we rebuilt the website. Okay, when we rebuilt the website, were all of the old pages rebuilt or redirected? Like, we just saw a perfect example of, it used to be NDIS occupational therapy, now it's just occupational therapy. Now, I found somewhere that they definitely still push the NDIS. There it is. We offer more than just NDIS. If I were them, I would be concentrating on this in the permalink like they did before. So for this key term, this is actually that was a far more superior site on this particular key term. So I see this play out way too much. So basically what they should have done, once again, being devil's advocate here, maybe this was all planned, this is all kosher. Eugene, keep in your lane, you know nothing about this business, you shouldn't be commenting. But this is just general advice, is at this point, look at the top performing pages. So for example, if right now we had to rebuild this website, I would take a look at the top performing pages via Ahrefs. I would log into Google Search Console, I would log into Google Analytics, and make sure that the top performing pages, we're tippy-toeing around them and being careful around them and really making a decision whether or not these need to be touched, redirected, rewritten. Even just changing the H1 or H2 heading tags can do some serious damage to those pages' rankings. Because what it actually does, it triggers Google to revisit, refresh, recorrelate the rankings. Now this is a monster site, right? This is a big business. So it's like, none of your business, Eugene. I'm looked after quite a large NDIS plan management company, so I do know what I'm talking about. But when I look at SEO titles, let's have a quick squiz at their site, see what kind of condition these are in now. Better rehab, ally help provider, great. Working to make life better for families, clients. This is not really SEO optimized in my opinion. If I go back and I check out Wayback Machine, and we go back to when I checked this just 10 minutes ago, the old site had what I would consider better on page. They had titles that they were targeting. Maybe this business is just, it's so big these days, they're just like an Adidas or a Nike, where homepage doesn't really need to have much optimization. For example, MYOB, they used to have accounting software on their H1, they don't anymore. We all agree on MyOb, so it's like the on-page SEO direction, we all agree on MYOB, they've got an empty H2 tag. By all SEO directions, that's not what you should be doing. You should have the word accounting software. They've got accounting software here in the H2 and in the H3. But they're a monster site. And a monster site plays by different rules from Google's perspective, and they're heading in the right direction. So the rules that apply to a small business apply differently to a high authority site like MYOB. Now, let's just humor the situation. Let's have a look at their titles back in the day. Nothing special, but more focus on NDIS, rehab, occupational therapy. They had the words in the titles. So at a glance, yeah, a bit of open traffic. We can see the keywords that took a hit. We can see the pages that were not rebuilt or redirected, I feel like, at a later date. But this is the kind of stuff that I see day to day, and how to avoid it is you look at the top performing pages that you currently have, you see where they rank, you see what traffic they're getting, and you have a plan for those pages. Speak to someone that understands the basics of SEO, or just make sure that plumbing is reconnected. Tippy-toe around those pages. If they're delivering leads and delivering value, just be careful with those pages. Hope that helps.